So yes, probably it's healthier
Yes,
than the
yes,
others.
yes.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of like appeals to younger generations, but for those older generations, like long-time residents of the city, they also can find their perfect spot to enjoy their cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Take the Peace Hotel, for example, a very iconic building of the city. You will find that those old Shanghainese, they usually just take a seat in the cafe of the hotel. So instead of just drinking a cup of coffee, I think they prefer those, the cultural and historical charm that the landmark represents of the city.
Yeah, probably, elder people probably, they don't like coffee so much, even if sometimes I saw some of them enter a coffee shop and order some cup of coffee. So probably, they are, you just need to get used to.
Yes, and it's like everyone can find their
spots.
Yes, their
and their
spots
preference, because actually there are different kind of coffee.
Yes.
And also the Americano, I saw that many coffee shops in Shanghai, they prepare in a different ways. Like some of them just prepare a small cup of coffee like espresso and then just add hot water. But some others, they prepare those kind of filtered Americano, and that one is also good. Have you tried it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very tasty. Yeah.
So Martina, since you are a coffee lover, let's see how strong your passion about coffee is. Like, how many types of coffee can you name, and how do you usually identify them?
Well, my favorite and the one actually I prepare every morning for me is espresso.
Yes, of course.
As we say. At home, I don't have the coffee machine that usually in Italy we have at the bar, but also in Shanghai actually in many coffee shops. So we have the mocha.
Oh, mocha.
The mocha pot, yes, and I prepare with that. It's my favorite at all. Then cappuccino. Cappuccino, yes, is also one of my favorites. And then latte that I discovered in Shanghai. That is like, is not only milk. And then I have also mocha.
Oh, mocha.
And in China, there is a little another way of saying mocha is mocha, but probably it's with a little bit of mocha actually.
Mocha. Yes.
Mocha,
it's like very different taste, right?
Yes, it's a little bit different. And then also lungo. Lungo, as I said, is like a little bit longer, but probably you can find it in Shanghai. Not so many people drink it. And how about you? You know some other kind of coffee?
I think for me, I prefer those, just very unique style. Like I said, for some Chinese people, like some very Chinese characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
You love latte.
Yeah, latte, of course. Latte is my favorite, and also like some very Chinese styles, just like I said, the osmosis latte, the osmosis flavor,
really
and
nice.
also some fruits.
Yeah,
like,
because I saw many coffee shops that just like prepare with some fruits like orange or kiwi.
Yeah, it's like
it's
very
not
different.
so bad. At
It's
the
not so
beginning,
bad.
I was like, I'm not sure if I want to try that. But actually, it's not that bad.
Yeah, actually, it can also spark something really new. Give you something refreshing. So Martina, since we've talked a lot about coffee, and it's very interesting because when we find that the different coffee cultures meet in our conversation. I know there is a coffee shop just around the corner. And the owner of the cafe is actually from Germany, but who's been living in Shanghai for like 20 years.
Wow,
so
a lot.
I bet he must have some more interesting stories with coffee as well as the city. So let's
Let's
explore
go.
more.
Let's go.
Hi, Eric.
Good
How are you
to see
doing
you.
today? Yeah, good.
Nice
This
to
is
see you.
Martina.
Oh, you have a new friend?
Yeah,
Nice to meet you, Martina.
Nice to meet you, Eric.
yeah. And she's from Italy, actually.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour.
Are you making
Would
coffee?
you like a coffee?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like a coffee. Actually, I was telling Victoria that usually Italians drink espresso, but
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Yeah, no. Today, yeah, I'll have Americano.
Americano?
Yeah.
Okay, we have 3 beans to choose from. You can have a fruity one, you can have a chocolatey one, and this is our very special Yunnan single origin, a little bit red winey.
Yeah, that's cool. Probably today I want to try, the special one. Yeah.
All right, good choice.
In Italy, you know, every morning we prepare espresso
Yeah.
with the mocha pot, but in the coffee shop and bars in Italy, we also have this kind of machine. But I never used it, so
You want to try?
yeah, why not?
Good.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's actually,
So now I'm going to make you work to make
Put
your
my
own
cup
coffee.
over
yeah,
here.
sure.
Oh my god,
Oh my god.
never used it.
No worries. First step's already done. I already put
Okay, perfect.
the coffee in here.
So you have to put a little bit. Your
This is
coffee.
the tamper, so you
Yeah.
just slide that in there, and then you can tamp the coffee.
To press,
No worries,
right?
fully in. Yep. Okay, good.
2 times.
No, one is fine.
It's enough?
Yeah, it's done. Make sure it's clean on the top. Just wipe it. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Now you need to find the right angle to get the portafilter in.
3.
It's an Italian machine, so you probably can communicate.
Perfect. The first time.
Awesome. You're a natural. Make it really tight. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Good.
It's enough.
And you want to make an Americano, I suppose?
Yes.
Yes, we take a little bit of a bigger cup. And
Oh,
we'll put the hot water in already. I'll do that for you.
Okay, perfect.
There's a hot water.
That's hot water.
Half cup or no?
Just
A
so
little-
that it's
little bit
full
more.
with the espresso later.
And put it
All right, so now
down
you can
here, right?
put it beneath, and then you just put the paddle over,
This one, right?
just completely over to the other side. Okay, it's a manual machine, so now we need to look at the timing here.
Okay.
You see the seconds counting.
Wow.
See your coffee's coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, temperature is stable, but it's not at 17 seconds, 18, 19, 20, and at 28 you want to stop it.
Okay. Right now.
Yep, go. Oh, awesome.
Thank
Your
you.
first
Wow,
Americano
amazing.
on La Mazzocco.
Oh, yes, because it's Italian.
I mean, usually we just say a perfect cup, but we don't know how to, like, goes into
Wow,
creating
amazing.
this cup.
It's my first time using this kind of machine. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Want to go over, sit down?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
It was not that difficult, actually. So, how long have you been in Shanghai?
Oh, Shanghai has been since 2003, so 21 years.
Oh,
20 years, so long.
21 years.
Yeah.
And they went by like nothing.
Yeah.
And how ended up open this coffee shop?
Yeah, this one is a little special because it's Huaihai Zhonglu, right? So we had a coffee shop or several coffee shops in Shanghai before, essentially just to be able to tell the brand story and interact with consumers, because we are about Yunnan coffee. Right? The coffee commune is about Yunnan coffee. It's about helping very small farms have a hope for a prosperous future, because if they're too small and they make normal coffee, they have no
Yes.
chance. And so this one here was, as you see, it's a Lianming store. It's a brand shared space. This is a very old Shanghai brand, Huaiguojiao. 1954 they were founded. They did antiques. Now they do a lot of second-hand luxury goods.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
saw
they
it.
had this store all fitted out in old Shanghai style.
Yes, yes,
And they
very
had a
good.
coffee bar, but they're not coffee people. So it didn't really work. And so they asked around, do you know someone who could help us do the coffee? And then somebody knew somebody who knew me. And asked me, hey, Eric, do you want to do a store on Huaihai Zhonglu? I said, of course I want to do a store on Huaihai Zhonglu. Just Huaihai Zhonglu is not exactly cheap, right?
Yeah.
And so we talked a little bit, and then this concept was intriguing because it was already set up, and we would do it together. We would split basically with the proceeds. And it's fun because you get a lot of different people here, very different from the normal stores. Here I get a lot of people in their 70s
Ah,
70s.
really?
because they know the old store.
Oh,
They know
exactly.
Kwai Guo Jiao from 1950s.
Yes, exactly.
1960s.
Some long-time residents.
And
right?
so they walk along and say, oh, there's a Kwai Guo Jiao, let's go. And then they see, oh, there's
And
coffee.
then they have a coffee.
And they actually drink coffee.
Wow.
So this is very interesting. It's not anymore just the young people.
Okay.
Yeah.
It starts migrating through the generations.
Yes,
That's exactly
it's-
what we were talking about.
It's like
Were you?
everyone
Yeah.
can find their perfect spot to enjoy their cup of coffee.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So now also elder people actually like to
Drink coffee, yes.
Yes.
Especially with this historical and cultural charm. Yeah.
And interestingly enough, that time Shanghai also had a phase of coffee.
Really?
Like in the 1920s to the 1950s, there was actually a lot of coffee houses in
Yeah,
Shanghai
because
already.
like French concession, Italian concession.
All the international trade here
Yeah.
that happened, so a lot of coffee came in, and there was a coffee factory in Shanghai. They made it was instant coffee, but coffee was prepared and people
Yeah,
liked
it's-
drinking coffee.
So actually, Shanghai people are already used to.
Used to,
Yeah.
yes,
It's always
exactly.
been pretty cosmopolitan.
Exactly.
So Eric, as one of these international experience ambassador, how do you actually see the evolvement and the development of the coffee culture of Shanghai? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, Shanghai is now all around the world, actually. It's in everybody's mouth because it is the city with the most cafes in the world. At one point it was New York, at one point it was Seoul, and now it's Shanghai, solidly Shanghai. More than 9,000 stores. And it's a very different coffee culture here because a lot of young people have aspirations to do their own thing in coffee. And so they learn whatever they can, but their history is different, their upbringing is different. It's been without coffee. And so they bring all these different ideas into coffee. Like, I mean, we all know about the bubble tea stores, right?
Yes, yes.
Naicha. And so they're all used to that from their studies, right? They lived on bubble tea basically. And so they combine these concepts, right? So you have coffee and tea concepts combining with each other. You have different regional influences.
Yes.
Like I went to Chengdu the other week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and a cafe there actually prepared coffee with mala.
Really?
So they actually put the mala seeds into the portafilter. Just what you
how
just
was
did.
that?
They put it with the coffee. Well, mala. It was interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say my favorite flavor, but very unique, very interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, I also heard, but I didn't try the motai.
Yeah,
Yeah,
motai infused
yeah.
one.
Okay.
But I never
It's very
tried that.
popular there
Yes,
from the
yes.
Lucky
Is it
Coffee.
still popular, or was it just that?
Probably it was
Big
like one
thing.
or
One-
3 months.
Yeah, it was an amazing publicity coup, I think, from Racine, from Luckin, and from Mautai.
Yeah.
That's again a
Collaboration,
shared brand thing,
yeah.
right? A collaboration thing.
Yes.
I think probably it was the best for Mautai because if I noticed since then there's more and more Mautai stores and more young people are actually interested in Mautai because Mautai is such an old brand.
Mautai is
the
really
old brand
famous
is
in
really
China.
famous.
And it's
and
very
really
famous but
strong
very
taste.
expensive, and it has
Yeah.
this connotation of like older people kind of thing. And now the young people are interested in it too. It was, I think, for them it was very successful. I found it very interesting, and a lot of my coffee friends, international coffee friends, found it very interesting that it was such a craze about alcohol in the coffee because we go like, yeah, Irish coffee, Mexican coffee.
Actually, in Italy, I told you, yeah, we
We
have
have
two.
it
Yeah, we have two.
For as long as I can think, we have
Yeah.
coffees that are spiked with whiskey or with rum
Yeah,
or with, even
exactly.
with vodka, like
Yeah, gin. Yeah,
coffee
also in
martini,
Italy.
right?
Gin.
It's
Yeah,
coffee with
right.
vodka, basically. So it's nothing new, but the concept here took off so much, I think, because coffee is something new, Maotao is something very traditional for China, and you
So
put
put
those
it
two together in a
Yes.
very big, new, local, like really genuinely Chinese coffee chain. And that was just something people were really attracted to.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And how do you like your coffee, Eric?
How do I like my coffee? I like my coffee, I'm a coffee nerd, obviously, so I like my coffee pour over. I want to really know, like experience the detailed, complex flavors of the coffee. So I don't like the dark roasts that much
Okay.
that are typical for Italian. I drink it, no worries, but I really prefer coffees that are fruity, that are flowery, floral, that are complex, which means they're a bit higher in acidity because
Yeah.
they're lighter roasts,
Yes.
so that you still have that complexity. which is a hard sell here. So we're a specialty coffee company, and a lot of it always is education. So like doing little seminars, doing little classes, doing little sharing events, exposing more and more people to the subtleties of coffee when it's not roasted to the point where it's just bittersweet.
Yeah. And do you usually start your day with coffee
Yeah.
or just, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, period. I can't function without
Yeah, probably every
Yeah.
European.
Like how many
instant
cups?
human, just add coffee.
Like how many cups of coffee can you have per day?
How much I can, I don't know what my limit is, but I normally have anywhere between 8 and 10, 8 and 12 coffee
Really?
per day. Yeah, it's difficult to measure because I mean, first I drink my 2 cups in the morning that I with one pour over pot, and then I go to the store, and then it's quality control, right? You check this, you check this, you check that. Then sometimes, or quite often, we have coffee tastings, so cuppings, right? So when I use these spoons, go into the coffee and right? You don't really know how much you had after you're done, right?
Counting at
And I don't mind drinking coffees in the afternoon or just before bed. It's fine. So yeah, it's a lot of coffee per day.
Yeah. Do you think that Shanghai people nowadays, they usually just take a cup of coffee and take a city walk along the city?
Yeah, I see that a lot, that people do that. I don't normally take my coffee walking because, as I said, I'm a bit of a nerd. The paper cup has its own taste. And I don't like that taste compared to the coffee. So I always choose to have my coffee in a proper mug, in a proper cup, or in a little glass when it's a pour-over coffee.
Yes.
So I don't normally walk with my coffee if I can avoid it. But a lot of people seem to enjoy that a lot.
Yes.
Explore the city, have a sip every now and then.
Actually, many Italian people are like that. Also, me before coming to China, I was like, no, I had to have my cup of coffee, like sitting in a glass normally. But now I totally changed my habits. Now I love take a walk around, a city walk with a cup of coffee.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's very interesting to talk with, especially when the different coffee cultures, blend in our conversation. It's like, do you see this special, the coffee with special Chinese characters, like spark something new, like inspirations to you?
Yeah, as I said earlier, here it's a breeding ground, particularly Shanghai. Not only Shanghai, but particularly Shanghai is a breeding ground for very new, innovative ways of interpreting coffee. Like, people still say coffee is a Western thing, right? Western culture. But here that is no longer true because, I mean, you would know, right? Italy has a way of drinking coffee, right? So it's in the morning, you have your cappuccino maybe, or you're completely into just espresso and a glass of water separately. And you don't even sit down for it, right? It's just like it's a coffee bar, you get it standing at the window, you pay for it, you drink it, done, right? It's really
It's
to
like
get
1
the
second.
caffeine in, to get going, right? In Germany, where I come from, it's typically you have your coffee at home, it's filter coffee. You have a percolator, you have a filter machine, you program it in the evening already, it automatically makes your coffee so you wake up to the smell of coffee and then you have your first cup of coffee. But it's all very traditionally brewed coffee in different ways. One is espresso, one is filter, but it's really just coffee. And maybe you add milk, maybe you don't add milk, but that's it. No flavors, no nothing. And here it's a whole culture of competing in real competitions where you get a trophy in the end about how can you make a very special coffee beverage, right? So latte art is a big thing here, right?
Yes.
So young people, and I organize these competitions as well. Like they just crave to compete and see, can I be the best at making the most amazing pictures on coffee, right? Designs on coffee. That's one direction. Others are about the brewing. So they are like really trying out the most amazing blends and techniques to get a very special kick out of that coffee, brewing it. And then what's really taken off here now is like the tertiao. So making coffee beverages with or without alcohol, but it's really more like a bartender kind of thing. Like they really go into studying the interaction of different flavors, of different ingredients, how they interact with each other to get a first sip experience, a middle drinking experience, and an aftertaste experience. And they talk about it knowledgeably. They make pictures for it in these competitions. They put it in front of judges. that is something that the West never had to that extent. So it's no longer really Western culture. This is very, very Chinese culture now.
Yeah, it's like 卷起来了 in the coffee making. It's
Yeah.
very competitive. I think for now, especially in Shanghai, you can say that the different coffee shops are actually designed for different groups of people.
True.
Yeah, it's like for this store is like the vintage inspired one.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's a Lianming store. It's a co-branded store. It's not really a cafe per se, but it's a very nice atmosphere to be in and meet friends and have a chat or sit at the bar, look down on Huaihai and work. There's sockets, right? So people can just sit and work. So what we can see is a lot of the stores, like 9,000 plus stores, a lot of them are individual small stores opened by really young people that are very passionate about coffee, and they really express themselves through their store. It's like, this is not about coffee per se, this is about how I want to live. They want to share of themselves, like their dreams with people, which is why Shanghai is so interesting to explore as a coffee universe. Because you see these stores and everyone looks unique.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told you.
I
love it. Yeah, I love it because in Italy, when you go to a bar, it's a little bit different one from each other, but actually, it's kind of
more
a normal
same,
bar.
right?
Everyone is the same. But in China, especially in Shanghai, every coffee shop is really different. It's really unique.
Right.
It's like,
it's its own unique designs.
The owner want to express himself or herself inside the coffee shop.
They look unique,
I love it.
And they actually normally they have something unique that you really don't get in the next store. They all have their special beverage, their signature thing that they do that nobody else is doing just the same way. Right? And then you have the stores that are more for like what Starbucks pioneered, like the third space, where you just sit down. You can go there, you can get what you expect in terms of a coffee, and you have enough space to sit down with people and either have a business meeting or meet up with friends or whatever it is. Just don't be in the office and don't be at home, the third space.
Yes.
You have that too. But what we also see, and I always say a little bit unfortunately, but it's part of the whole thing, of course, it's like the fast food coffee, right? Just take out, walk with it, or have it sent somewhere, which is not great coffee, but it's part of the whole thing, and it helps proliferate the culture of drinking coffee. Right? That's my positive take on it. Like, the more people can easily get a cup of coffee that's very affordable, the more people will also think about, well, how good can coffee really be? How interesting can coffee really be? And they then end up in those very unique individual stores and have a great experience.
Yes, exactly. Because Martina and I just talked about, there is a popular saying here. It's like 上海人血管里流的不是血，而是咖啡. I don't know if you heard about this. It's like in the veins of Shanghai people, it is coffee that flows instead of blood.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the high pressure, high achieving cities are like that, and Shanghai is definitely now one of the top cities in that regard. Like, the pressure is always on. This city also never sleeps. It's proverbial about New York, right? The city never sleeps. The Big Apple. People there are also proverbial for always needing their coffee, right? No matter what day what time of the day, they just need their coffee. And it's the same here. Like,
also because coffee shop around Shanghai, they close really late actually.
Even though I still have to say, it's very, like, as an operator of coffee shops, you can really tell without looking at your watch, like, okay, it's 5 o'clock now, because hardly anyone comes in and actually wants to drink coffee. There's still people who come in and they say, like, well, can I have a juice, or can I have this, or can I have that, or is it okay if I just sit down?
That's something that in Italy we can just do. If you go to a coffee shop or a bar, you have to order something. You can just enter and just sit and work or read a book or whatever. You have to order something. That's pretty different from Shanghai.
It's also amazing because last time when I went to a Shanghai hospital, and there is a coffee shop in there. So it's like people can't leave with the coffee.
Yeah.
It's like coffee means a lot to them.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense because like a lot of people in the hospitals like are actually not the ones that are being treated. It's a customary thing here that you bring family members to the doctor, and the doctor here is typically the hospital, right? And so there's a lot of people just waiting.
Yes.
And they have nothing to do until that person comes back from seeing the doctor, and that can take quite a while, right? Because so many people seeing the doctor. So it makes perfect sense that it's almost like a little bit of a food mall, right? Like you have like a bakery, and you have a cafe, and you have a convenience store, and a lot of things in the big hospital.
And also in metro station actually. It was a big surprise for me when I arrived in Shanghai, and I saw that every metro station has its own coffee shop and everything.
Yes, especially in the airports as well. Airport stations.
That of course.
So many. Yeah. Thank you, Eric, for talking a lot about coffee as well as Shanghai.
Always talk about coffee. If you want to talk more, just come to one of my stores.
Yeah, sure. Actually, it's just today's show is just the beginning because we will be launching like a series of coffee shows next year. Yeah, it's to take the audience, to take our readers to explore more about the city as well as its coffee culture. So
that's cool. I can already think about a few things we could do.
Yeah, sure.
It's so fun when you have people exposed to making coffee for the first time. There's all kinds of fun things that can happen. Tomorrow I have one of those events in Lima where I'm just going to share a little bit with people and then let them make their own pour-over coffees for the first time in their lives. They're gonna do that. I've done it before. It's amazing. People love it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I was thinking also that usually during winter we always drink hot coffee, but in Shanghai during summer, because it's really hot, and now I drink Americano, I started to drink iced coffee. That is something Italian never have. Never. Yeah, iced coffee, Because iced coffee, you never drink espresso, right?
Yes.
No, espresso cold is not a good idea.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So we usually never drink like iced coffee.
Yeah, that's also, you're right, it's a big difference in this part of the world, even though it's also very common in the US. So it's also in the West you have also a lot of iced coffee, but not in the traditional coffee places like Italy or generally Southern Europe. No. Germany also used not to have it. It started in the US with the cold brews and all that stuff, and here it's really, really popular. Even in the cold season. Even now people come to the store and say,
during winter I just can't.
I want a cold brew.
I just can't. I prefer the hot.
Yeah, me too.
We hope that next year maybe three of us can explore more of the city.
Sure. I
look forward to that.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's it today.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thank you for your coffee.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Victoria.
Yeah, we've learned a lot about coffee.
Yeah.
So see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.